What's going on, guys? It's Marcel Benson, investor and entrepreneur. And look, this week you got the potential to double, triple your money, okay? I need you to lock in. But before I jump into the video, like, share, subscribe if you want to see more of this on a consistent basis, okay? Now, I got 3 stocks that I've done some thorough research on, and I truly believe that they are some huge money makers for the week. Again, all you got to do is lock in, follow the teachings, do your own research, right? I'm going to show you how to look at these charts, how I'm looking at these charts, compare it against your own, and let's get to the bag this week, all right? Now, this week, I got 3 stocks, right? We got MSTY, right? We got Uber, and we have SPY. SPY is one that's... When I show you what's going on with SPY, I think that might be the one you want to focus on the most, right? So in just a second, I'm going to jump into these charts and I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to double your money, right? Now, there's various levels of input for output. So that's going to depend on your risk level. But at all risk levels, these moves can double. All right. So the first one is Misty, MSTY. Now, I've been screaming about this, for a while. You go back and watch my videos. I've been telling you guys to buy this at least for 4 to 5 months. If you would have purchased, when I said it, you'd be up thousands just from the income. Now, a lot of people look at this stock as a stock that is just for income. But what I'm seeing on this chart right here is the potential to actually make some money from the security itself, right? So we have a beautiful double bottom, right? You see this W that's forming. We got a double bottom. This wants to go back up to the top. Now, when we're thinking about the timing of things, it's like usually patterns also coincide with what is also going on in the world and in a particular market. So we all know that MSTY uses a cover call strategy for a company called MSTR, which is a company called Strategy, right? Led up by Michael Saylor, who buys Bitcoin by the boatload. They got over 600,000 coins, one of the biggest holders, if not the biggest holder, I think like right under Satoshi. They're like in the top 3 or 5 or something like that, right? So a massive holder of Bitcoin, right? They've been buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been pumping. And right now, Bitcoin is actually in a bull flag pattern, okay? It shot up and it pulled back a little bit, but it's not trying to pull back any further. It looks like it wants to blast off and go and make brand new highs, okay? So that can only mean good things for MSTY. Right, we got the dividend coming up. The X date is on the 31st. So if you still want to get involved, again, this is not financial advice, but if you still want to get involved in that income, Misty does a really good job of allowing you to get in just the day before. They paying on the 1st. If you can get in this week before the 31st, you can get paid on the 1st when they pay out. I'm thinking that the dividend is going to be a little bit higher. I looked at some, estimates online. Some people are saying that it's going to be a little lower than last time, but with all the volatility and movement in Bitcoin, I'm thinking that we're going to get a nice payday on this one. All right, so we got to wait and see what they come out with in the news. But again, Misty, for the long term, this is a good time to buy because they're under $22, right? If you look at this area right here, you see they've been consolidating in this area for quite some time. So if we can get a break above 23, then we got the gap to fill, and then we get a break above 25. There's 2 more gaps after that. It could really, really go. This is all going to depend on if we get that bull run in crypto, which I think is in full swing right now, okay? So that's MSTY. I'll be watching this intraday, right? Each day I open my days up with the orb strategy. You guys know about that. I'll be, watching it on Orb, but I will also be accumulating more, especially if we can hold this price around $20, right? I will definitely be getting more because what I see is opportunity. I see this at some point during the bull run returning to its highs the same way it did the last time it came down, right? This is a double bottom, and we know double bottoms send stocks sailing. Okay, so not only will you be getting paid income, but the security itself can also make you a ton of money. All right, now this was one we made some good money on. Last week we struggled with it a little bit because of this little move that it is faking like it doesn't want to make, right? As you can see, we got faked out right here last week with this green candle. But if you look at it, we still are in this little miniature head and shoulders pattern, right? Let me expand this a little bit so you can see. We are in this head and shoulders pattern. That's the shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline, right? So we can get a break of this neckline here, right? If we can get a break of that neckline, we should be in really good shape to come and fill this gap right here. So, if it wants to pump fake again and go up and, reject off that 21, that may be an even better entry because we have a further way to ride it down. But this baby really wants to come down. Of course, the confirmation would be below the neckline, which would take us right into this gap fill. So we're talking about a $6 move. You can more than double your money with a $6 move with weeklies. Okay, so definitely check out Uber. All right, and last but not least, I told y'all I had a good one, another crazy one for y'all, right? So last but definitely not least is SPY, y'all. Look at SPY. Okay, now the thing about SPY is SPY has a way of creeping up and giving people the utmost confidence that it is going to stay in that direction. It's something about the way that it moves that the moment that you get really excited about it, it turns on you. Well, we're not going to just go off of that theory. We're going to look at real technicals, and I'm going to show you exactly why it looks like it wants to come down at some point. Now, if you see right here, this is a very, very clean rising wedge, right? So we had the falling wedge with MRK that's starting to bank, right? This is a rising wedge, so it's inverted, version, right? So this has been rising. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we got the touches on the outside. We just needed to break below this wedge, right? Now below this wedge lies what? It lies 3 gaps, right? We got one right here around what is this? Around 605. I'm giving rough estimates, right? I have the numbers written down on my watch list, but I'm just basing it off of what I'm seeing on the charts right here. But yeah, around 604.50. We got the other one starting over here like around 575.50, right? Another one down here around 533, right? So we have plenty of room for it to fall once it breaks out of this wedge. So when we get that confirmation out of this wedge, that's going to be target 1, that's going to be target 2, that's going to be target 3. Now there are other ways to get your targets, right? Like you can use Fibonacci, you can use the different levels. There's a levels indicator on TradingView, but what I like to do is look at where it made its mistakes. Like look at the spaces that it skipped to get an idea, because I know once it breaks through that wedge, the first thing that it wants to try to do is clean up this gap right here, right? So we're talking about a potentially a $20 move over the course of the next couple of weeks. So definitely keep your eyes peeled to SPY. That is something that will absolutely double your money on a weekly or next week contract, but we got to make sure that we catch it at the right time. Now, if it's not breaking out of this wedge, then we leaving it alone. But if it does break out and we get a confirmation with a lower low and a lower high, this baby, like I said, could be coming down about $20. Okay, so yeah, that's the watch list for the week. I mean, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and it's time to go get money this week, right? You seen the watch list. I know there's some of you that have been watching me for a while that have not made the decision to get into the Prosperity Collective, but all you're losing is time. All you're losing is money. All you're losing is the opportunity to connect with people that are doing it. We just promoted somebody to moderator because of their consistency, right? Not just their consistency in making money, but also showing up in the group and helping others, right? This is a community that's built by community, right? Me and Zay just run it, right? Get in here, get the information, learn it, grow so that you can start to express yourself and do things that you love to do. Y'all know that's what my channel is all about. Y'all know that's what I stand for, is being able to free yourself through trading, right? Jobs are great. It's a means to an end, but the ultimate goal is to make money while not doing much, not expending much energy, so that you can take that energy, that God-given energy, and do something that you love, because that's what's going to be what makes the world a much better place. All right. I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all know it's always love over here. Peace.